Cool. Yo. What's up? Test it out. Cool. Looks like we're good. What I'm going to do for a little bit now is just kind of jump through and check out, see what's happening with the market, how it's all kind of going. Okay, so got to jump in here. I'm using Nansen. There's a link for Nansen down below. If you kind of want to use it, check it out. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump in on Nansen, have a look at the trends, have a look at the stats, kind of see what's going down. 24-hour market overview. Currently, so ENS is popping off. Everyone's kind of just smashing ENS. I think it's I know this. Yeah, so ENS is popping off. Godhead's NFTs, a little DGen play that's kind of ripping at the moment. It's doing good. Surprisingly, to see the other side's popping back up, so it's going good. Then, yeah. Okay, one thing I want to kind of jump in and have a look at is the NFT Trends. Now, the reason I kind of like having a look at this daily, in a sense, is to see what is going on with the market. And you can see the year-to-date volume, sort of 7 million ETH worth of volume, and year-to-date wallets, 1.88 million wallets. The 1.88 million wallets, I wouldn't take that as sort of look. I have sort of 5 or 6 wallets. Everyone will have a bunch, so I wouldn't take this into account in consideration, just because yeah. But 30-day volume, sort of 550k worth of ETH. So market size, this is I think this is a super interesting piece where you end up having a look at the fact that in September, bull run September, crazy good numbers, yeah, whatever here. Then you've also got the fact is the January-February bull run. Just looking at these, just looking at the numbers that you've got here, the fact is you can kind of see that what the other side did, and I don't consider the other side an actual kind of bull run in a sense, but like there was a lot of activity, a lot of stuff going on. So it's like when I'm kind of looking at this, the fact is we had a big ass bull run in January. September was crazy. Then you had these lulls in that October-November period. If you've been around in that October-November period, you knew just that basically having a whitelist was a death sentence. So you can kind of see we've come down and we're essentially flatlining out. And if we flatline out for a bunch of time, I kind of think that, okay, we need to have a whole bunch of lows to come in, and we're getting those sort of October-November lows before we kind of punch back out. Now, this will be contingent on ETH. This will be contingent on what's actually happening with the space, who's actually moving. Sort of, when I mean space, I mean like this will be contingent on ETH kind of running, how that's kind of going. But the fact is, you can kind of see the fact that we are kind of hitting some lows. Once we hit some lows, we will then have a catalyst of some sort to actually kind of pump back in. Be going volume, not that bad. Now, what's crazy is that you can actually kind of see from the January period, the section of that bull run, we're going, this is just, it's straight down. It doesn't look like we've found a bottom yet, because we'll need to find a bottom before we can kind of know what to expect on the way up. But yeah, essentially the user activity per week, it's still down. So until we find a bottom, we're not sure where this is going to go or how it's going to happen. Now, for anyone, I'm just checking out the comments. Jay, yeah, God hates NFTs. That's absolutely just kicking it at the moment. It's like it's going crazy. Hopefully, if anyone's in it, make sure you, not financial advice, make sure you sort of take profits and all that, because so many people ended up running up Wizards, and Wizards has pulled back to like a 0.2 or 0.15 or something. So not financial advice, but if you make some money, make sure you kind of sort of take those profits. Otherwise, it could be a little bit sort of hectic. Then so like the users per hour, this is like interesting. So the reason I like to look at these daily is that at the moment it's sitting flat, but you can see when there's a bunch of degen plays that's happening, you can kind of see an upwards trend. When you can also see when OpenC is down, you can also kind of see when OpenC is down in a sense, because like there'll be just no many users per hour. So OpenC is the blue, the you got Looks Rare, and then you've also got the Mints, which is the yellow. Sugar Ray Robertson, how's life? Life's good. Just kind of kicking it. It's a Sunday afternoon, just getting some work in, looking at the markets. And I thought I'd kind of start trying to do some of these live streams a little bit more, this is what I kind of do on a daily, just having a look, checking in at the markets, see what's happening, which then keeps you ahead of the trend and how things are going. So yeah, hopefully if you like it, I can kind of keep doing more of these. I also do these occasionally for people, just like private videos and things like that, just so you can kind of get an idea about what's happening with the market. But yeah, just like, I like to kind of look and see what's going on with the mints, what's happening with OpenC, what's kind of going on, and what's happening overall. And then when you kind of come down to transactions per week, now this is something I've touched on before. Hey Fran, nice to it was great having a chat the other day, and sort of thanks for liking up the post-drop analysis of the the Possessed. So yeah, this is Nansen. The tool I'm using is Nansen. The link's down below. It's an affiliate link, but yeah, it is what it is. The one thing I kind of like to kind of point out here is the fact that transactions per week, this period here is Goblin Town. This is when Goblin Town and free mints kind of popped off. And what you'll notice is that we're actually hitting up levels that were as crazy as like the September part, but then almost as high as November. Oh no, sorry, the January, February bull, which is like crazy. NFT Pasta, if you want to make $1 million, I think what you should personally do is start up a pasta restaurant, sell it as an NFT, and then you'll make a whole bunch of money, and then just rug on people and just sell like Dolmio or something. That's the easiest way. Start up a Jamie Oliver type pasta joint, Dolmio, serve it, and just rug everyone, take the money and run. So having a look, so this is, I kind of put up a tweet a while ago about how the fact that we're all playing the game, but there's just no money in the market, because when you have a look at the transactions per week, crazy amount of transactions per week, but the amount of volume, which is sort of like the price, it's just going down. So I don't see NFTs as dead. I think people that are smart are sitting on the sidelines waiting for something fun to come in, and when there are some DJ plays, people are good, ready to kind of kick in and have a go. Yeah, thanks, Jay. Jay, I realized I was setting everything up that had the mic there. It would have been sort of terrible audio to begin with. But yeah, it is what it is. We'll get back into it. And this is something I find this just crazy. I like to look at what's happening with the returning buyers are this kind of top line, the blue. The first time buyers are the sort of the reddish pink. Now, what's crazy is that we've actually had more returning buyers when we had the free mint meta that was going off, more than we had in January. So it shows you that there was a whole bunch of people in here ready to kind of play, ready to have fun, ready to have a great time, but they just weren't spending the money. So treating it almost like the kind of, it is a casino, but treating it like a casino, treating it like a little bit of fun, because the numbers don't kind of lie when it comes down to the amount of people that are kind of returning buyers. Now, what is crazy is that you have this little dip down here and this little dip down here. Those two dips, these are when ETH had those big major crashes, when it just kind of crashed, wiped out, nothing, when ETH had those two big crash days, people just weren't wanting to be in the space, weren't wanting to kind of play around or anything. And I find this interesting because you think, hey, ETH is crashing, no one's buying or selling on OpenC, everyone's kind of chilling back. But the fact that you can actually have some data that actually backs this up and kind of shows you that people aren't coming back, shows you that if you are looking to kind of liquidate and sell some stuff, don't be doing it on those crazy days when there's a lot of sort of price volatility in the market. You almost want it to be kind of stable. And one thing that I also want to point out, okay, I'll jump back in. Cindy, yeah, cool. When it comes down to Nansen, I really do like Nansen. It's got so much interesting stuff in it. And once they kind of built in these trends, it was able, or more of a reason to come back. It wasn't just seeing what's minting, what kind of projects are popping off, but it was almost like the trends and get some of that data. But yeah, if you do like me kind of using Nansen live doing this, I'm happy to kind of jump in and do more of these. I want to do more live stream type things because I can do one take videos. I'm a one take wonder, but doing live streams is a little bit daunting to begin with, knowing what to talk about. But if you like it, let me know. Also, jump over, follow me on Twitter. I think I've got a link tree down below. Follow me on Twitter. Let me know what you want to kind of do, and then we can jump in and do more of these things, because I feel like when you actually see some NFT content on YouTube, it's usually sort of 12 hours late. Even if you try to pump it out, it's not live and happening right now. So yeah, but back into this, what you'll also notice is that the first time buyers, people aren't necessarily, new people aren't coming in. You can see that the trend is kind of going down, but then you've actually got the fact that we've got the returning buyers. When there's something fun or there's a new meta popping off, people are coming in and kind of actually having a go. Sugar Ray, what I've been holding during this bear market. So I've got Psychedelics Anonymous. I like what Vulture is doing. I like the whole ecosystem and how that's kind of moving forward. That's what I'm just holding. I'm not selling that. Coming into it, I actually picked up sort of 10 KTF. So I've got a sort of Gucci Grailed. I like that because like I like Gucci. Gucci's just like, that is a blue chip brand. And then the fact that Gucci have kind of collaborated with those things. And then if you're actually in the 10KTF ecosystem, I like the fact that they're kind of getting into the wearables sense, but they've kind of gamified the system a little bit. If you just go and have a look at the 10KTF Twitter, you'll see the narrative and storytelling that they're actually doing. And it's quite good. So you kind of join missions, things like that. So those are two. No one will like it, but like the Hape, I've still got my Hape. I'm holding that. I sold one pre-reveal, still got the other one. And then when we get to the sort of other long-term holds, they're mainly kind of influencer and alpha pass type things, because those are the guys that are always kind of pumping and going hard. So if they're kind of doing that, that's what I'm going to hold on to, because they're always at the forefront. And what every single project wants to kind of do is, hey, how can we be at the forefront? How can we constantly be marketing after we've dropped? The best person to kind of do that is an influencer or someone, and I hate the term influencer, but the people that already have an audience that are already doing it, they're going to keep that project at the forefront, which can bring new people into it. So hopefully that kind of answers the question, Sugar, about the things that I'm holding. And when it comes to the things that I'm looking for, I'm not looking for anything in particular, but when something hits and you kind of go, oh, that's different, that's when it is. Hence like the 10KTF, when I kind of saw that, I'm like, okay, I can see where they're going. And Vince, there's a lot of Aussies. So Pass is an Aussie, I'm an Aussie, and I guess like at this point in time, it's like stupid late in the US, so I guess there'd be a lot of Australians here. And I know that Franz is from Sweden or Switzerland, one of the two. I always kind of get that area of the world mixed up. And then in terms of like the rest of the trend section, not much going on. But yeah, I think the main takeaway and the interesting part here is that the fact that we are having a lot of transactions. That does happen when we had the free mint meta or when we have one of those meta, but it's just the fact that people are a little bit hesitant to actually kind of spend a bunch on these projects, which is crazy. What I'm going to do now is jump over it and have a look so just jumping in the chat. Jay from New Zealand, whereabouts are you from in New Zealand? I'm a big fan of the South Island, like as most Australians kind of do the Queenstown South Island holiday. That's kind of what we do. And yeah, Fran is from Switzerland. So what's kind of going on 24 hours in the market, I was kind of touched on these before. If there's anything you kind of want to, I actually might jump into Godhead's NFTs and just see what some of the holders are. Cindy from the US, what time is it over? It's like pretty late in the US, I would think at the moment. Yeah. So, but thanks for kind of tuning in, staying up. So Godhead's NFTs, this is kind of pumping at the moment. When's it? So you can kind of check. So checking this out in terms of a run up, I'll actually get here. So you can kind of see, like, this is one of those things where like I wasn't across this in okay, so it's only been 3 days. Okay, cool. It just seems like it's a lot longer of a period. But yeah, like at the moment, you can see that it was kind of sitting flat, and it has just had this run up with the volume dropping off. I think it's because it is late in the US. I do think that when everyone kicks back in and Europe kind of wakes up, we're going to see a little bit more volume. I'm not saying that it is going to kick back up and just run back up, but the fact is, when volumes, like anytime there's volume, it usually is just kind of running up, which is good. So I would keep if you're looking at kind of what the project's doing, have a look and see what happens when some volume comes into the market, because anytime some of the volume, it just runs up. Looks a little bit messy, looks a little bit crazy, but that's just the vibe that I'm kind of going for there. Let's get back into the chat. 2 a.m. in Canada. Yeah, it's a little bit late. Okay, so it is like the proper AM over there in the US. North Island and Auckland. Yeah, Jay, I got to hit up. I would like to kind of hit up Auckland at some point. I was going to. There's a little holiday island up there that I was kind of going to go off the North Island. It's where a lot of kind of Aussies go as well. But yeah, I need to kind of check out the North Island. I do like New Zealand. It's close enough for us. It's almost faster to fly to New Zealand than it is to get to other parts of the country. And then also the air's cleaner. Everyone's friendly. It's nice. It's good. And Vince on the Gold Coast. Yeah, there's in the chat right now, not many, but I know that on the Gold Coast you've got you've got Steph. He's kind of moving decently in the space. You've got Liam D. He's up on the Gold Coast area. You've got Cameron. He's big on TikTok, or he's kind of like moving on TikTok. He's up there. So there's a lot of like guys, and there's also Josh. He's NFT for Noobs on TikTok, 200K. He's like moving in the space. So there's a lot of like sort of southeast Queensland guys that are absolutely smashing it at the moment. So yeah, I'm a big fan of what's going on with that scene up there. And I honestly think if there is going to be a baller ass NFT NYC type event in Australia, it would be Gold Coast, because you got the casino, weather's good, got a decent amount of function halls, lots of hotels. I think that'd be the play. And Vince, yeah, champs only, and Zerk. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Liam. I like that. Jay, the island, that might be the island. I need to kind of do some Googling to kind of see what that island was, but it was the kind of island that you need to catch a ferry over to, and then other than that, it's just a nice kind of peaceful island. It's kind of where a lot of holidays are. So what we're going to do is jump back into what's happening with Godhead's NFTs. So this is like, looking at this here, and this is just me kind of first kind of impressions. You can see that around this 1.4, you can see some, this is where the floor price has been. It's not that bad. What I would do is, if I was eyeing off an entry point, a 1.4 doesn't seem like a bad entry point, but not financial advice. This is contingent on people actually kind of, or the team kind of keeping the narrative going, pushing things forward, things like that. But it's just an idea that, looking at this, you can see that it had trouble kind of getting, let me clean it up. You had trouble getting through that 0.4 mark, but then once it has hit that 0.4 mark, it's almost like that's the support. And then saying that if you were going to want to exit, it's looking like at around that 0.6 mark, it's kind of capped out. So if you do get an entry point of a 0.4 and you don't see this as a long-term hold, that 0.6, it's only a 0.2 flip. Once you get fees, it might be a 0.1 and a bit. But you're looking at the fact that with the just having a look at where it kind of tapped out before and where it is, that gives you a nice little middle chunk, a middle range to kind of look at. And I think that's very important, just so you're not kind of going off a whim. And like, another thing why I want to touch on that 0.4 is the fact that it like tried to break through there. It didn't, went back down, then broke through again. Jay, if I ever do go up, like, I think going up to the Auckland and North Island, it'd be find out some good pubs and good places to have a drink, because I don't mind a beer. That's also why I kind of like hitting up the sort of Queenstown in that area, because it's small enough. You can just walk from sort of pub to pub, beer to beer. Don't have to worry about driving, catching an Uber or anything like that. So DAYC is going to mint for Project Broski. So what's that? That's Yaramish. He's got broskies. So I actually need to kind of check out. I don't think I've connected with him. I think I've like DM'd him a couple times. I've got to check out and see what he's going to be doing with that, because I'm a big fan of content creators and people of people that are on marketing themselves, but then it in turn markets their project. I think it's just a very good way, a very good kind of run. It's I'm not saying it's the safest play, but it is a safer play, because as an influencer yourself, you're always kind of hit up with projects going, hey, can we get promo? Hey, can we do this? Can we do this? When what they should be doing is they should be able to kind of generate that stuff themselves. If they can't get people talking about it, then the issue's on them. And the idea that having a spokesperson at the front that is able to market it constantly is a good chance at having new people kind of be introduced to the ecosystem. When it comes to Gossamer, I think thanks, Asko. Yeah, when it comes down to Gossamer, I can't say much. I can just say that the way that things were launched and set up originally, I thought it was good. And I also thought the price point in the beginning, actually, I'm going to need some clarity. Cindy, are you talking about, can you actually tell me the project? Are you talking about a specific project or just the artist in general? Just so I kind of know. Dylan, do I like Parallax's NFT? I actually bought in. I didn't mint it. I wanted to kind of see where it was going. It dipped below mint for a bit, and I actually picked one up at 0.28. So I'm back in. Floor price is back at like a 0.45 or something. But yeah, like I was kind of touching on before, love sort of influencer type projects, and I hate using that term, but I use the term because it gets it across the line. But I like influencer projects because they're pushing it forward. Patrick will just keep going hard on that to want to kind of like deliver. So yeah, I actually got in myself, but I got in underneath mint, which I'm kind of pumped with. So Sugar Ray, what's your favorite groups utility wise? I'm not, I guess I say I'm biased, but I really do like what Amir is doing with Dark Echelon. I've known Amir when he was sort of like back in like November, December. There's an interview on my channel somewhere, but yeah, big fan of Amir. The way that he moves, the way that he thinks is good, and the way that he's very strategic in building out his team. So Lilith is one of the sort of collab managers, and she's from Melbourne, so she's an Australian, and I spoke to her. She's very on the ball. She's very connected. Amir is very connected with the people that he knows. He's got a goal and he just goes for that goal. So I'm a big fan of that. The whitelist and things like that you can get from it, great. He's also got these additional tools and things like that you can get within Dark Echelon, which are great. But overall, it's like when you kind of look at what he's done to get it to where it is, I'm happy with it. And he's not slowing down. He's going hard, which I think is really good. Okay, getting back into a little bit of God Hates NFTs. When you get down to some of the breakdown of I'll jump in the chat. Cindy, Gossamer World NFT. No, because I was thinking of something else. So no, I can't kind of give you any insider on the Gossamer World NFT at the moment. Sorry about that. When we have a look at some of the breakdowns of what people are doing, top holder of the God Hates NFTs, 140. Then after that, you got 50, and the top sort of 15 round out at around 18. So I think it's a big spread. So it shows you the top person. They've actually kind of what they've done, and you can kind of see it here. They got 400, and they've offloaded a whole bunch, and they're just holding the 140 now. What I'm going to do is I like to always kind of jump in and have a look at the profit leaders when it comes to a project, because I feel like that gives you an idea of what is going on with the project, how much runway you've got. And I think that's kind of a good insight into the project, especially as it kind of runs up. And you can see the top profit taker, 4.2 ETH. So bought 9, sold 9. So most of the people within this, I'm not saying the project's dead. You need to do your own research, all that kind of stuff. But the idea is that a lot of these people, clean this up, going bought 9, sold 9, bought 5, sold 5, bought 6, sold 6, bought 7. So they've completely exited the project, showing that essentially people have kind of left the project, and they're like, okay, well, the ones that are here now are people that are kind of believers, or that have kind of not necessarily bag holders, but the way that I kind of take this is that if you really truly believe in the project and you want to get to that 100 ETH floor, you need to have people that will kind of take some profits along the way, but they're really ready to diamond hand those last pieces. But looking at this, it looks like a lot of people I've kind of like gone in and gone, hey, this is the quick flop, I'm out, which means that I feel like you're then going to get a lot more people doing that. Jumping into the chat. Sugar Ray, have a good one. Go study, do what you need to do. Vince, in terms of VFriends, it's a similar thing that I was touching on before. I like VFriends for the fact that you're essentially buying stock in Gary V. If he blows up and gets bigger and bigger, it's going to do good. But on the flip side, if you buy stock and Gary gets cancelled, then it's going to go down. I think if you could have gotten in, obviously if you get it mint price, you'd be better. But I think that overall with VFriends, I think it's a good structure to show how a celebrity or someone with status or influence can actually drop an NFT and drop an NFT properly with really good perks, really good rewards, really good different aspects to it. And I think that's very key. Like, I think what's dumb is that, and this is, I'm not trying to hate on any celebrity project, well, I kind of am, but the idea with a celebrity, they drop it and they go, oh, cool, you can come to a party, you can do this. If you then break your NFT down into those different segments, like how he has like the black cats kind of give you certain things, and like, if you end up having it like that, people then want to strive to get a particular thing. So even within the project as a whole, that floor can rise, but then you've got these mini pockets within there. And as he announces a benefit for that one, it then starts to run up and it starts to gamify the system as well of buying and holding that particular NFT. So I know that Gary does say, not necessarily controversial things, but Pastor put up a post before about Gary kind of pumped on music NFTs. But the thing with music NFTs is that there needs to be a perfect storm for actually people to kind of generate some big royalties. So I'm not saying that everything that Gary V says is gold and is going to kill it. There does need to be some reading between the lines, but the most things that Gary does and he tries to actually practice it will actually do better longer term. So yeah, long story short, I am a big fan of VFriends. Don't hold any myself. Main reason is like, I would need to see myself get a particular utility and value out of it. Otherwise, there's no real reason for me to kind of hold it in a sense. Otherwise, it's just speculating. And at the moment, I don't want to speculate in a market like this. I do remember watching the Dutch auction go down, and I was just like, this is when ETH was like 3 or 4 grand a pop. I was like, oh, 1.5 ETH, because I think that's where the Dutch auction went to. I'm like, oh, no, I'm not going to get it. Obviously, it would have been a good chance to actually get it at that point, because I was like, oh, yeah, no. What else is going on with the chat? Oh, Philip, how you going? Nice to kind of have you on. Okay, yeah, so Captain Knuckles, OK Bears. When I was looking at OK Bears, and actually, this is a perfect excuse right now. What I'll do is, I actually recorded a video just before this on sort of Nansen actually incorporate. I know this sounds like a big ass plug for Nansen. I just genuinely really like Nansen. They've actually got all the tools that I use, which is on Nansen. They've actually incorporated Solana NFTs, which I think is really cool, which then can give you a chance. So yeah, with OK Bears, I think OK Bears is a decent play, just because was able to bridge the gap. When I look at something like OK Bears, I see a project that was able to kind of capture the minds and imaginations of like sort of ETH maxis and things like that. Now, when you start to have a look at what's happened in the past little couple of weeks after what would be the Solana summer narrative, it has pulled down and pulled back, but it looks like we've hit that kind of bottom there. Now, obviously, it could go down with some FUD, with team not executing, things like that. But looking at that, we did see a kind of a base there. We did see a base at 120. And the fact is, you could actually get to a point where this may actually be a decent entry point. I am kind of looking at OK Bears. I'd like it for that narrative of the fact that they did capture that attention. And I know some ETH guys that kind of have apes and stuff, and they were changing their profile pictures to OK Bears because that was just part of it. So that's why I kind of like the idea of OK Bears as less of a deep dive into what the team's doing, what the project's doing, and just more like an ethos of what the entire space was thinking and feeling. If that kind of makes sense. Hopefully that kind of gives you an answer, Captain, about what I kind of think about OK Bears, less than that kind of nuts, bolts, black and white sense, but more of the vibe overall. How long it take to paint all painted face MR timer guy? Okay, not sure what that is. Zarin, big shout out. Zarin, how you going? Zarin's actually kind of a YouTuber from the Philippines, has been kind of a mod for me for a while. Good stuff, Zarin. Have you seen Australia Shaq's Solana NFT collection? No, I haven't. I know that Shaq was doing something. I didn't know what it was called. but unless I come across stuff by a celebrity and it looks like they genuinely care about what they're doing within the NFT space, I really don't take much notice or attention, because it's happened so many times where a celebrity comes in and does something and it's just seen as a way to kind of just monetize on their audience. So I don't pay much attention to it, and I'll miss a lot. Like I will miss some upside on those things, but overall, you're going to just minimize the heartache that will be from them just not actually executing on something, because you can inherently tell when someone is deep in the space and they actually want to kill it and make a good, like have a good time, and make what they're doing overall just better for Web3. And you can tell when they're just in it to kind of make some money. And a lot of rappers and things like that. Yeah. So Timer NFT, Bored Ape, any new projects you want to know about coming up, Nate? Can you rephrase the question a little bit, so I can kind of get that, sort of get you the right info? Vince, Floyd was the first rug. I didn't like, that's why I don't buy into anything. One of the first ones, and I thought it was funny, was when the Rich the Kid had rich kids, and it's like, I got a video on the channel about why it wasn't going to sell out and why it was terrible. And it's just like, I feel like all of these kind of celebrities are just making projects, and they always all look the same, and they always just end up being a rug. And it's like, they just don't know, it just doesn't work, because it's not authentic, it's not real, it doesn't work in with the ecosystem. But yeah, like actually saying that, there is like, I wouldn't say it's a rug, I actually don't know where it is now, but it's like, I think Takeoff of the Migos, I think it was Takeoff, he ended up doing a project, and I was one of the last 100 to mint it, because I knew that after mint it'd flip into a rip. Actually, yeah, minted at 0.25, which is like an expensive mint at the time, listed at 0.35 or 0.4, it went up to 4.5, it triggered the sell, went to sleep, woke up with that flip. But yeah, after that, it just didn't do too well, because the utilities, and like, even if the utilities are good, I don't think people right now are caring too much about utilities. I think people are caring about the speculation aspect of it. People speculate on the fact that there is utilities that someone else will use, not the utilities on themselves. And that's where I think some issues come down with music NFTs, and utilities when it comes down to those artists. And then yeah, Floyd just rugging a whole bunch of projects. Yeah, like, because Floyd also kind of does the, yeah, also don't want to hate on Floyd because he'll knock me out, but yeah, Floyd's also just any crypto coin, any way he can kind of make some money, hence why it's like hard. I think where the idea about sort of celebrity projects is the fact that celebrities will take endorsements. They're used to taking endorsements, but they don't usually kind of do it themselves. You've got agents, you've got people working behind the scenes, and agents' cuts taking 20%. They're like, okay, cool, there's $1 million deal. They go, shit, I can make 20% off this. Then they convince the person to then go, okay, like, how about you run up a like this NFT project or do this thing, you'll make 800 grand. The agent's making 20. They don't care about themselves. They're kind of not necessarily saying they want to burn them, but they're in control of the finances and how things are happening, which is why you end up with sort of really terrible projects and these kinds of rugs. Even if they don't intentionally do it, they're sold on the dream of, hey, all I need to do is put my face here and do like sort of do these tweets, and then I'll get this big payday, because that's how they're used to working in the Web 2 space. And in the Web 3 space, we're kind of used to people being there for a long time. So that's the way that I kind of feel about celebrities. So like, I have a little bit of empathy for them, understanding how that aspect can work. But overall, like, they should really do some research and actually not rug people and just take their money. Peter, hey Peter, how you going? Nice to kind of see you. Peter's obviously, I don't want to butcher this, but I think I think Chinese YouTuber. Big shout out, Peter. How you going? I wish I could kind of watch some of your content, but I don't speak sort of Chinese, so it's a little bit hard for me, my dude. The Bored Bunny. Sorry. What is it? Matthew. With Bored Bunny. I don't remember Bored Bunny. Because I'm getting confused with Bored Bunny, because I recently got hit up about a project about bunnies itself, and they were just like bunnies in lingerie. It was like confusing. And it also looked like it was, what is it? Jessica Rabbit had that kind of framing, like that kind of art style. So I don't know what it is. I don't want to kind of shout it out and kind of sort of say anything bad about the project, but the idea is like, there is a bunny project. I'm getting confused up because I've had them in my DMs trying to want me to promote something, but it's like they're going to get done for sort of takedown of like similarities to Jessica Rabbit, no doubt. So yeah, that's another kind of thing, another little tidbit is that if you look at something and you get that nostalgic vibe or that feel about something and you go, hey, that kind of looks like a Warner Brothers character, or that looks like a Cartoon Network character, be careful with it, because when those lawyers kind of realize, hey, that project's made $2 million, they're like, cool, let's take a cut from it, and then just wipes it out, and the project eventually becomes a rug. So that's something to kind of keep in mind. Peter, Hong Kong, lovely. And then in terms of Tiger, he had a Solana NFT. Yeah, I think, like, look, not hating on Solana at all. I think if Tiger or if I think a celebrity is going to do an NFT, it needs to be on Ethereum. I think Solana is the perfect chain for having fun. Like, I've even noticed with the content creators that I watch in Solana, there's a different way that they talk, there's a different way that they act, there's a different vibe and communication style. I think Solana feels more skewed a little bit younger and more into gaming. That's what I feel like when it comes down to Solana and the Solana ecosystem. So I think that a project needs to kind of think about how they want to talk, how they want to communicate, how they want to act, and then that can kind of determine what chain they should go on. Because I'm not saying that ETH is more mature, but I feel like there's a different style and language that ETH sort of investors have as opposed to Solana investors. And the same kind of thing, when I'm going to Solana mode, I don't care about utility much. I just care about what's the art, what's the vibe like, and it is just it's a different feeling for me. It's almost like the difference between being on sort of LinkedIn, how you act and portray yourself on LinkedIn, as opposed to how you'd act and portray yourself on like something like Snapchat or Instagram. There's a different personality. It's the same person, but a different aspect and personality. And I think that's the way the different chains come in to play. Hence why I feel like something like Tiger wouldn't work on Solana, because Solana, first off, you need to market the hell out of it, but it needs to kind of fit that Solana degening type vibe. So jumping in and having a look. Okay, so let's try to read some content, some comments. So Timer NFT. What about the guy that painted war paint on his face 400 times and made it into NFTs? I'm not across that or familiar with that, but I think I like those types of things. Like Logan Paul, he's very kind of controversial in the space, whatever. But the fact that he's got his project, but the Polaroids and that, I think that's interesting. I think there's very interesting projects that come into play when people aren't just doing the generative thing. Like they're kind of doing something that's changing the barriers, and you're almost going very artistic in a sense. Like you had the It's Nothing NFT, which was just nothing. And that's almost like when you get an artist that gets a blank canvas and will just like slash it with a knife, and they're creating something by not creating something. So I think that there are those things, but I feel like those plays are very, very speculative, and they're very high art, if that kind of makes sense. So I'm not familiar with it, but I like those types of weird concepts that are kind of a little bit niche in a sense. I think they're very good, but you do need to have some liquidity. They aren't the kind of like quick flips. These are the things that you buy into, hoping that the artist then does kind of do something that is kind of groundbreaking a little bit later, which will then mean that historical stuff can then kind of pick up. Okay, let me have a look at some of the other comments. So Peter Wang, Soul projects seem to be more degen in some ways, focus on hype and speed, in my opinion. Yes, 100%. Like I think the fact that a Soul project can be like sort of up and gone, quick run within a less than a 1 day period kind of shows you just how fast people are moving into it. But I also think the low barrier to entry, as in like low cost with like no gas, also kind of adds to that thing. It actually turns it very, very casino based, and I think people kind of do take that degen nature. Like I've done it before where I've made a degen play on Solana, didn't work, and I listed at 0.0001, just like I don't care. Like Solana's what, like $35-40, lose $40, I'd lose that on gas anyway on ETH. So it kind of, that's where it gets a little bit fun, where you're able to kind of just play around and do some crazy degen plays and then not really worry about it. But saying that does mean that you need to have a bit of a bag and a bit of capital to kind of run into it. Look, guys, thanks for kind of tuning on. I know we kind of went over some stats, some of those, like the trends, what's happening, and then also a bunch of little things. I'm going to be kicking it off. It's kind of getting mid-afternoon. I kind of got to go get back into it, make some content, get some things done. If you liked this, make sure you go follow me over on Twitter, and then just kind of like hit me up, sort of tweet me and go, hey, like the live stream, so we can kind of do more of these if you like them, and then we can kind of keep doing this. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in, and I will see you later.